What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Bleacher Report. I am your host, TD from tdphinstalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. The Miami Dolphins are stuck in quite the dilemma right now, dealing with some Jalen Ramsey news. We're going to discuss that and more. But before we do, make sure that you know that you can find all things sports with Bleacher Report. Make sure that you download the app. Let your friends and family members know about it as well, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it. We got a lot to discuss in regards to the Miami Dolphins. Here we are on Friday evening before we go into the weekend, and Jalen Ramsey is still not traded. All right. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let's go ahead and dive into this. There is a world where Miami may not find a trade partner, at least not for what they're asking for. What happens if that happens? We're going to talk about it because this is a potential reality. I got to be honest with you. A June 1st designation, right? We knew that we wanted to trade Ramsey. We were already talking to people about trading Ramsey before June 1st. But here we are. June 1st has come and gone, and we're literally June 20th. We're 20 days in, and Ramsey technically is still a Miami Dolphin. He is still a Miami Dolphin. And that's scary. That is concerning. That is an issue. Because I thought that June 2nd, June 3rd, or June 4th, there would have been a trigger pulled, a transaction already made in Miami where he would have already have been sent to a team, the details disclosed, and it would have been good for both teams. But he is yet to be sent, and we're talking about an all-pro player. One of the best corners in NFL history in the league. He's definitely on a Hall of Fame trajectory, right? And he's still on the Dolphins, and we're having a hard time trading him. That's what it comes down to. And here's the reality. It's actually getting tougher and tougher to trade him. When Jair Alexander was released from the Green Bay Packers and he was available on the open market, that made it tougher to trade Jalen Ramsey. And do you see how quickly he was snatched up by the Baltimore Ravens? Do you see? And the reports were other teams made greater offers and he decided to go play for Baltimore contender. And from what I'm hearing, Jalen Ramsey is looking to play for a contender as well. But we had some news that broke today that said Jalen Ramsey made it known that he would love to go play on the West Coast with teams like the Rams, the Chargers, the Seahawks, and the 49ers being potentially the front runners with that piece of information being related. Now, that's not good news for the Steelers, who were continuously trying to see if they could work out a deal for Ramsey, as well as Jonnu Smith potentially going to the Steelers as well. The Dolphins have some things that they have to figure out. But the dilemma is the fact that Dolphins wanted to pursue Jair Alexander. We found that out a few days ago. But they didn't, because they were waiting until they got the funds to see how much money they can get in the Ramsey deal. That is a huge issue for the Dolphins, ladies and gentlemen. We're penny pinching, even though we have a few $1 million that we can use right now to bring in some help at the position. Let's not sit here and sugarcoat anything. The Miami Dolphins probably have one of the weakest secondaries in the entire NFL going into the season right now. One of the weakest. And they need help in this area. Taking the approach, which I believe is nuclear, of letting the young guys play and see who can make a name for themselves, and using terms like we're not going to hold hands anymore. The simple fact that you had to hold hands in the first place tells you that that unit is weak. But the Miami Dolphins look like they may be going into the season dealing with it. They may be dealing with this unit. And that is not good for the Dolphins. So you should be out working to try to bring in a solid corner now, but the Jair Alexander situation should have told us all in great detail where this team is. And I've said this for several weeks now. The Miami Dolphins checkbook might be closed. And I think that they may be tanking. Now, I've gotten a lot of pushback on that rhetoric, but when you really look at the evidence surrounding us, all signs point to it. They're letting Jonnu seek a trade. Ramsey's out of here. They lost Calais Campbell. The Armstead retired. Moster's no longer here. They didn't pursue Javon Holland any further. The writing's on the wall. They shook Bradley Chubb down for money. I mean, come on. Let's call it what it is. I think that the team is in a reset, but not stating the fact that they're resetting right now. I think that's what's going on. It goes even deeper than that whenever you look at the financial aspect of it. When you really break it all down financially, just to know that you were waiting to see what money you can get after the Ramsey trade, what your situation will look like before you actually pursue Jair Alexander, that tells you they are not looking to dig into any future money, and they are not looking to sign guys on multi-year deals. They're looking for one-year deals where they can reset next year if necessary. But also, why did you have to wait? Why did you have to wait for the Ramsey move to be able to pursue Jair Alexander? It's not adding up. It's not making any sense whatsoever. You have the money that Jair just signed for right now. Are you thinking that you might actually be stuck with Ramsey? Nobody's talking about that potential. And that relationship, based off of so many people's accounts, it's already broken. It cannot be mended. So he has to be traded. But the Dolphins look like they might take a maximum loss in a trade. I know that the Dolphins are trying to trade Ramsey and see if they can add some salary, pay a large part of the salary to make it happen. But the way things are looking, maybe they got to just bite the bullet and pay majority of the salary. And if you have to pay majority of the salary, it's like, oh no, we can't do that. He's going to have to stay on this roster. But then you're not getting any play out of him because the relationship is already broken. This is quite the dilemma when you have a team that has high aspirations this year, which I believe this year is a prove-it year. But yeah, you're losing talent left and right. You're losing talent left and right. And I'm going to tell you all now, ladies and gentlemen, don't sleep on this Jonnu Smith situation. That's not just automatically forego the fact that they've given him permission to seek a trade. And for the right deal, Jonnu could be gone. And if that happens, come on, man. Why? What are we doing? Are we really about to play this season out to win 7 or 8 games? Or are we going to position ourselves to make a real legitimate change in the offseason by getting a great draft pick? And I know a lot of people don't like to talk in these terms, but we're talking reality now. It's happening right in front of our very eyes. You can't say that the Dolphins improved the O-line. We added Jonas Avea, which I believe is going to be a great player. We don't know because he's a rookie, but I believe in the kid. But you just lost an all-pro Hall of Fame Tyron Armstead. This line has no chemistry together. They're young. You added a right guard. You added a left guard. Brewer, second year. Austin Jackson, when healthy, is solid at best. And a left tackle in Patrick Paul, who's a second-year player that isn't great yet. Hopefully is. This isn't the definition of fixing the O-line. This is the definition of building the O-line to eventually get better and better, hopefully. That's what this is. So you could say it was addressed, but it wasn't, oh, we just built the wall addressed. It was invested in addressed. I don't even know what words to use. We invested in it. But to say we addressed it feels like you fixed it. No, we invested in it. We didn't address it. There is a big difference between investing in something and addressing something. And I believe that we invested in the O-line, but we did not address the O-line. Because Jonah may be great, but it might take 2 years, 3 years. Patrick Paul might be great, but it might take 3 years, 4 years. And it could also be bad. So it's an investment, and we're going to see if we can get a return on our investment or cut bait with our losses at some point. We don't know. It's not definitive. And what we all had hoped for as Dolphin fans was that we actually addressed, which means we went and got that player that is solidified going to be our left guard, and we don't have any concerns. He has a track record and a history of being a great player that can man this position and be good for us. Where is that on the O-line? Can someone tell me where that is on the O-line? Patrick Paul, left tackle, we don't know who he is. That's not a guarantee. Left tackle, Jonas Avea, he's a rookie, not a guarantee. Aaron Brewer played great last year. He's the biggest, somewhat of a guarantee, in my opinion, that we have, but it's his second year, no cohesiveness with the two guards next to him, but a solid piece. Right guard, fresh, new to the team. We don't know what that's going to be. If he can stay healthy. He's been proven to be a good player, but if he can stay healthy. And Austin Jackson, once again, if he can stay healthy, is above average at best. Slightly under, I mean, okay, let's say good, maybe, you know. We invested in the O-line, hoping that we get a return. But we did not address the O-line. And that's the scary part going into the season. And the Miami Dolphins, with this Jalen Ramsey situation, is telling us a lot about their thought process and their mentality moving forward. They are not trying to invest in this current team, ladies and gentlemen, outside of draft picks. They are not trying to use any significant capital to make the team better. We are not investing in being a better team this year. It just feels like we're going through the motions to move to get past this year. And I feel like they've set up a situation where this is a test year. Who's taking the test? Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier. They have their final exam this year. They have their final exam this year. And for 3 years now, they've been able to create a cheat sheet, a note sheet, and then on test day, the teacher has always said, hey, you could bring your cheat sheet with you, your note sheet to take your test. But this final exam, they've removed all cheat sheets and all note sheets. And they said, hey, at a minimum, show us you can do what Flores did when he had no roster. And this roster might still be better than the roster he had. Show us you can win 10 games. Show us that you can go to the playoffs. And if you do that, you've passed the test, and we can go ahead and move forward. And we'll rebuild this thing again with you. See, and a lot of people don't realize that, because when teams rebuild, it's usually with a new coach, but sometimes coaches make it through 4 or 5 years of one way and it didn't work, and they blow it up and they keep the coach and they try it another way. This year is the test to see if you're worthy of moving forward to try it another way. If you pass, we're going to try it another way. If you fail, somebody else is going to try it another way. I believe that's what's happening in Miami. It's a test for McDaniel and Grier. And we're in the middle because we don't expect to really be Super Bowl contenders as fans with this, the way we're lined up. especially with them saying, hey, Jono, you can seek a trade. I'm also getting nervous about the Zach Zeeler situation. I believe they'll lock him in, but they could very well say, I'm not doing any long term. Tell Zeeler he better play, or does he need us to accommodate him and help find a trade partner that would pay him? Like, ladies and gentlemen, that could be what's going on. We don't know. Maybe breaking news tomorrow, Zach Zeeler gets extended or restructured with more guarantees. I don't know. But I am telling you, there's someone that is saying no more multi-year deals on this roster until we know this, and this. And it might be we need to know McDaniel, Greer, Tua, and that's pretty much it. And this year is going to be the test for everyone. Now, I see some people in the chat saying Zeeler is going to ask for a trade if we don't give him what he deserves. I agree with that. But I kind of push back on the word deserves for the Miami Dolphins. He doesn't deserve anything with the Miami Dolphins. He's already earned what he's done with the Dolphins. And that's the ability to be marketable in the open market. We have already given Zach Zeeler the biggest thing he could ever ask for: marketability, which means he can now go to another team and make big bucks, not the preliminary mid-contract we gave him. He might be able to make just under what Christian Wilkins is getting. Big bucks. So we've already given him that. How? By giving him the stage to be able to earn it. And he did. What I don't want people to get caught up in, and this is where I get in trouble, people say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. We love to get caught up in what a player has earned and then reward him. And then the next 2 to 3 of his best years were a time where the team wasn't even relevant. That's what we love to do. See, if we were the Washington Commanders with a subpar roster and we went to the NFC Championship game, and in our case, the AFC Championship game, then you better pay Zeeler, Jonnu. Matter of fact, Holland should have been back. You got Armstead. Hey, you better go through pain another year. You do all you can. But why do we always want to pay a player when we're about to go through a rebuild? See, paying Zeeler isn't going to make the team better because he's the same guy that's been on it and it hasn't been good. Not saying he wasn't an asset for the team, but if you recognize the trajectory of the Miami Dolphins, this year and next year could be 2 very down years. It could be. So we want to give a guy a big-time 3-year deal just to use up 2 years of the guarantees of it when it's not good. And then in the 3rd year, he wants more money or wants to move on anyway. What did we accomplish? Just being able to say we got a good D tackle on the team? No, you have to strategically set your contracts up aligned with when you expect to show success and have success. Can't just say, hey, he earned it, let's pay him, we need him. Do you really need him for the next 2 years if you're not going to be great? Do you really need him? And for those who have followed me for quite some time, I've already proven this point too many times. One of the most recent was Xavier Howard. For several years, I was beating the table. Trade him now. Trade him now. His value will never be higher. We're rebuilding. Flores, trade him. Greer, trade him. We're not going to be competitive like that for 3 years. We're stripping the whole roster. And then we're building slowly. Trade him and get a great asset so you can get a young kid that can grow with the process. And people went in on me and went crazy and said, I don't know ball. I don't know what I'm talking about. Why would you trade your best player? And they're just not listening to the simple logic, because my best player is going to be the best for the next 3 years. But what's the trajectory of the team over the next 3 years? Are we going to be winning a Super Bowl over the next 3 years? Can we really envision, man, we're in the Super Bowl hunt right now? And we weren't, as you all should have known that. Stop wanting to keep a player when we're about to go through a rebuild. You're just wasting money and a potential draft pick that could be showing their value or moving on from because they weren't good. But either way, swinging the bat so that we can eventually hit. We could have got a second-round pick for Baltimore at one point, I believe, for Xavier Howard when they were asking for him at a trade deadline. Who knows what that second-round pick would have been? It might have been another corner in today's NFL that's balling out, and we don't care about moving on from Ramsey. Matter of fact, we might have never traded for Ramsey if we might have hit on a second-round pick that we got for Xavier Howard at the position. Like, this is what we do. So Zeeler, maybe he can give us a fourth. Who knows? That might be a really nice guard for the future. Jonnu might can get us a fifth. McDaniel's excellent with picking running backs. Who knows? This is what it's about. But we never understand that. We always just been sign him. He's earned it. We need him here. Just for him to fade away. Like we love using players' best years and getting no results out of it. You have to align it. And right now, I see the writing on the wall for the Miami Dolphins. McDaniel and Greer's back is against the wall. They don't have resources to dig themselves out, and they're going to need a big factor of luck this year to be able to get us into the playoffs. And even if they do and they show success, do y'all not see the roster still getting rebuilt next year? Jonnu not going to be here next year. Chubb not going to be here next year. Tyreek's not going to be here next year. It's still going to, and maybe Chubb, if they sign him now on a big extension, maybe him, if they do though. But if not, they're still going to be rebuilding next year. We got to do what's best, all right? And man, we're in a nasty situation with Ramsey right now, because what if we can't trade him? What will the Dolphins do if they say, okay, we are not getting what we want out of this situation? We're not getting the money that we actually want. I mean, the compensation. And, you know, everybody's wanting us to pay a large part of the salary, and it's just too much for us. We don't like it. I'm telling you, if they get stuck paying a really large amount of the salary, it's going to be a nasty taste in Miami in that front office. It's going to be a nasty taste. We still got to eat salary. And on top of that, we can't push it forward to next year. Like, they're trying to save as much money as they can so that they can push some forward to next year. Nobody's talking about that either. So the more money they got to eat just to move him, the worse the taste in their mouth is, and that taste can lead them to saying, you know what? Yeah, just trade Jonnu, and we might even trade Zeeler now. Because the reality is we're going to be, it is what it is. We're not giving it. It's time for us to put our foot on the gas with our belief right now. We're not extending anybody past this year. No long-term deals right now. Only people locked in from this point forward is Tua and Waddle. Tua and Waddle, that's it. Maybe we'll continue to build around them, or even next offseason, we'll make some decisions about them as well. That's the reality. It's the reality. So Miami, we're in a dilemma right now. And I'm gonna be honest, this dilemma is so confusing for I think McDaniel and Chris Greer, and they're not gonna show it, but I know I can tell that they're probably like, man, there's some things we can do to be real much better right now, but we can't do it. We're not allowed. We done burnt our bridges. The credit card done cut off. We done maxed it out. We can't even use it anymore. It's declining. Boss man ain't signing off on them no more. He took away all our overdraft protections. That's what's happening in Miami. And I'm telling you now, people talk about McDaniel a little feisty, look a little attitude-ish, a little, maybe he's about business this year. No. I read into that different. I feel like he's frustrated, but he got to deal with what he got to deal with. He made his bed, he got to lay in it. But he also might be frustrated. Man, he got to deal with what he got. It's his team. He got to own it. This is what they went the direction a lot of times of what he wanted to do. He got to own every bit of it. And I understand it could be frustrating too, because he wants to continue to push forward. Hey, let's do this and let's do that. No. Ain't no more do. You need to do it what you got. Show us what you can do. Now we need you to elevate your game. Now we need you to make something out of nothing. I think that's exactly what's going on. And hey, we'll see. You never know how guys react when their back is against the wall. This is the thing. We've never seen McDaniel in this situation. He's been comfortable. Y'all got to think about it. First year in, all the high flying offense, and he just on cloud nine, like, yeah, this is what I do, baby. Year two, yeah, baby, it's still what I do, but these injuries, we got to be able to, overcome them, but we didn't, but it's okay. Y'all know what we can do. You remember last year. Year three, yeah, we still dealing with injuries, but we struggling. We got to be better. Now you're starting to talk a little bit different lingo. And all of a sudden, just finger snap, year four is here and you're the Terminator now? No. You can't just transition that easy. But you're going to have the opportunity to. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what you can do. Me personally, I feel like this team has run its course. Whoever's took the credit card away might be the most responsible person in the organization. And let's see what they can do. Let's see what they can do. Time always tells, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be right here on Bleacher Report every week. We didn't go live on Wednesday night. Been having some storms where I am. I've been having some power outages, but we are here today, Friday, with the latest in Jalen Ramsey news. Pittsburgh, it's not good news that he wants to go on the West Coast, but the Rams, Chargers, Seahawks, and 49ers, they're looking into this. He could be one of those. He can go to one of those teams. We shall see. Let me say this. The Rams, that'll always be a good look. Chargers would be scary, nasty. Seahawks, go over there. Not worried about that. 49ers, that'll definitely help their secondary. But the best team that he could go to, that team that should be fighting for him, that should be the Chargers. And of course, his relationship with the Rams already, but the Chargers, that would be amazing for them. That's the ceiling for me. But will they pay the salary? But the only thing I don't like about the Chargers, I don't want him in the conference. I don't want him in the conference. I say send him to the Rams but I know the Rams are saying I can't pay that much of his salary. That's too rich for me. If you could take on this amount of millions, then we can talk. And I bet your Greer's getting that from everybody. And it's just being a headache. And the Dolphins are continuing to have to move that number. All right, we'll take on this much then. Can you at least move your number? Nope. And I think that's the issue here. I think that's the issue. And the sad part is something tells me we're going to cave. We have to. I mean, think about it. We don't have no choice, really. We're going to be stuck. We're going to be stuck. But we shall see. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. Again, we'll keep you up to date on all the latest right here at Bleacher Report. Those on YouTube, I'm going to still be live. Y'all can stay tuned. Love y'all, everybody watching on Bleacher. I will see y'all next week. Fins up no matter what. You can check me out on my individual channel as well, tdphinstalk on YouTube. And listen, we always in the show every week saying fins up no matter what. And the emphasis, as I always say, and these are hard times, but no matter what, it's always going to be fins up. See y'all soon. Peace. I'm out. Shout out to everybody on YouTube right now. I see y'all in the building as well. And shout out to the homie Tony H with the Blitz pickup in the building. Yeah, man, hit me up, man, on social so we can link, because I wanted to see if I can get you guys on the show soon, man. I want to do more evening shows, collab, and I want to get you guys on the show. So hit me up, Tony. He just gifted 5 memberships to the channel as well, man. I don't have my other chat up to see who he gifted, but he just gifted 5 of y'all memberships. Salute to Tony H for the love. That's showing love to the channel and the viewers. So thank you. Everybody who give memberships, man, big ups to y'all, because y'all showing love to other people who may not be able to. Some people can watch YouTube, man, and then we give them content that they need to help them get through rough times. But everybody can't join the membership. And so for those who gift, that's amazing. I thank y'all. And salute to y'all for passing it forward. And Tony H just did that for 5 of y'all. Shout out to Connor Bolton, said, TD, one more bad Tua season so they can move on. See, I don't think Tua's going to have a bad season. Tua is Tua. He's going to always be that mid to good quarterback. Y'all don't listen to me when I tell y'all. I don't say this to knock Tua, but it's the worst quarterback you have. That's how I've been. How long have I been telling y'all this? For years, right? The worst quarterback you can have is the one that's stuck between mid and good. It's the worst, because you're going to keep moving forward with them because something's there. It just ain't like, why the Dolphins and our fans can't never pursue, we got a guy. Why can't we ever want to be able to say, we got a guy? Oh boy. Why can't we ever? Why can't we ever do that? We got to sit around here talking about, I mean, you know, it ain't easy to find a great quarterback. You know, I mean, he's good enough. I mean, I think we could win if we do this and that and this and this and that. Like, that's where that's where we're at. We always get well, he's the best since Marino. Like, that's saying something. There ain't nobody to compare since Marino. Like, that's the one that killed me. He the best since Marino. He the best thing we've had since Marino. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm a statistical guy, because data can be so manipulated. It's things just like that. We know how great Marino is, right? And I'm telling you, every time you hear somebody say he's the best since Marino to make their point, I just feel like that's psychologically manipulating you to think that he's great. Why? Because we know how great Marino was, and psychologically, here we are 25 years later, and if you say something is the best since Marino, you automatically, your brain tells you, man, he must be pretty good, whatever they're talking about. It just automatically. But this is why I'm the type of person that looks at the raw data. Let me give you an example. It's like this is what it's like, right? It's like having Dan Marino, right? Give me the worst quarterback in the last 20 years the Dolphins had. Just name one. Just give me one that y'all think. One of the worst quarterbacks in 20 years the Dolphins had. Give me a name. Give me a name. Yeah, I know all of them, but give me one specific name where you're just like, oh my gosh. Did we have a Beck, John Beck or something like that? Like I remember we drafted a quarterback or something like that, and it was just pretty bad. Like I cringed every time they threw the ball. Right? This is what it's like doing. It's like saying Cleo Lemon, okay, didn't work out. Pat White, okay, didn't work out. This guy, oh my gosh, he was just so bad. That guy, is John Beck, he was just so bad. Every quarterback that I just named, every single quarterback that I just named, right? Let's go with somebody put it in the chat, right? Let's go with Jay Cutler. Let's go with Jay Cutler. Do you want Jay Cutler as your franchise quarterback? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you want Jay Cutler as your franchise quarterback? We saw what we dealt with, right? But that's like me arguing with you. Like say your only quarterbacks was Pat White, John Beck, Cleo Lemon, and then I talk about Jay Cutler, and y'all like, man, get rid of Jay Cutler, and I start arguing with you, man, he the best quarterback we had since Marino. That's what you're doing. It still don't mean nothing. So I'm using that as an example. It's still you can still not be any good. But to use Marino's name in the best sense automatically mentally like messes with people to think, oh, well, yeah, this is the best thing we had in 25 years. We better hold on to it. It makes you think that, oh my gosh, this is a treasure. We got to hold on. No, that's not what's happening. So don't hit me with that. He the best since Marino. Nobody wants to hear that. But I ask y'all again, why is it like, think about the Chiefs. How do their fans talk about their quarterback? Do they question anything about their guy? Do they question anything? Do they sit there and say, "Oh man, he need to be better at this"? They don't. They leave him alone. Like Patrick Mahomes is the least talked about quarterback in sports media. Y'all, I want y'all to think about that. Really think about what I just said. Patrick Mahomes is one of the least talked about quarterbacks in sports media. Yeah, you hear him whenever you mention the greats and he's a part of the list. But you know how we talk quarterbacks and debates and all that? Patrick Mahomes, one of the least talked about. Believe it or not, Josh Allen is one of the least talked about. Y'all think they're talked about much, but compared to everybody else, they're the least talked about. Lamar Jackson, least talked about, with the exception of when it's big time. Are you going to get over the hump? After that, he least talked about. They don't talk about these quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts, they don't talk about Jalen Hurts. Just in the moment. Outside of that, there's no debates and talks about them. Nobody mentions Joe Burrow. Jaden Daniels, I ain't even mentioned him. He was a great rookie last year, but ain't nobody's talking about him. Why can't we have a quarterback nobody talks about? Bring up the Bengals. What are you going to talk about? Like this is the test. This is the test. Bring up a team. And if the number one thing you talk about isn't positive with your quarterback, then that's a problem. That's a problem. If I ask, people are like 10 out of 10, like football experts, 10 out of 10. If I ask somebody that's like a 2 out of 10 in football, I watch football, yeah, but I ain't all intricate on the X's and O's. I'm like a 3, 4 out of 10. If I ask one of those people, Kansas City Chiefs, what's the first thing you think about? Oh, Patrick Mahomes, man, he's blah, blah, blah. Baltimore Ravens, oh, Lamar Jackson, he's da, da, da. It's all positive. You either mention the quarterback in a positive way or mention something else in a negative way. Them the only two things you can do, and you know you got a quarterback. If I mention the Bengals, they might not even mention Burrow, but they'll say, oh my gosh, that defense. Yep, they got a guy. They got a guy. You either mention the quarterback positively or you mention the main thing that's holding the team back in a negative way. The two things you do with every team. When they say Miami Dolphins, hey, what you think about the Dolphins? Every time I'm out and people that don't know me, they don't know I do this and I go live, right? They say, oh, you a Dolphin fan? I say, yeah. What about you? Yeah, man. That's my team. You know the very next thing that come out their mouth? Like literally. Tua, and they shake their head. It's a Tua, man. I don't know, man. I mean, he's good, but every time. Are you ever going to hear that about the Bengals? Joe Burrow, man. I just don't. Are you ever going to hear that about all these other guys? Now, I know what I'm saying right now is irrelevant because it's going to come back to the same conversation. All right, then what's your plan? What do you suggest? How many times do people have to tell y'all, you keep swinging the bat until you hit that ball over the fence? Today's NFL has gotten harder, ladies and gentlemen. You hit that ball until you fired over the fence, not a two base run. I'm not looking for a single or a double. You hit that ball, you keep swinging at that ball until you hit a home run. All the little, singles and doubles and all, trying to steal base, all of that in today's NFL is a waste of time. You're trying to be historic. You're trying to be one out of every 500 occurrences. If you're not going for a home run in today's NFL, you're literally trying to be the 1 out of 500 occurrences. Where it is possible, but it's a 1 out of 500 chance. Home runs is all you should be talking about. And I always try to educate people on this. Here's why. Hear me out. Here's why. It's harder to have like this dynasty type thing in the NFL, especially if you don't have one of those guys, because every year you're going to have 7 to 12 teams in the NFL that has an advantage over you that's paying your quarterback. Because they're going to have a guy on a rookie deal. They automatically jump you in advantage from a roster standpoint. They automatically jump you from an advantage of how much they can afford for their roster. Today's NFL is different. This is not 15 years ago where the cap mattered, but it wasn't so massive to where it mattered at the scale it matters today. See, people aren't realizing that quarterback salaries year over year are going up like literally like 20-25% year over year. Salaries are going up like 25% year over year. Like it feel like 2 years ago, weren't we just at 50 million for the top guy? And then all of a sudden Dak Prescott enters with 60. It's going up so fast. So with that cap on rookie quarterbacks, think about it. Cowboys, $60 million, Jaden Daniels, 11. If that. Think about it. $50 million worth of talent more that they can afford around them. Why you think they traded for Laramie Tunsil? Why you think they went and got Debo? Why you think they went and made all the acquisitions they made this offseason? We better take advantage of this right now. We got a guy who proved us in year one with less than that we can get to the top of the mountain. Spin it. Run that credit card. We got it anyway. We saving money for 4 more years on him. We better try to go win in the next 4 years. We need to do all we can to go do it. That's a disadvantage to the teams like us, unless you got one of them guys. The only way that you're going to overcome that is if you got one of those guys. Think about it. Look at the advantage. They have advantages. Now, all of them won't be great, but if they quarterback end up being great, they're going to make the playoffs before us. Look at Bo Nix, what he did last year in Denver. They were able to absorb Russell Wilson's contract and still get there. Jaden Daniels. You're now fighting against the teams that aren't spending 50, 60 million on their quarterback. They're spending 10. What do you think they're going to do on their rosters? Their roster is going to be better than yours. They're going to spend more money than you. And then you got to build through the draft and start replacing that money when you hit players. That's the new successful formula if you can hit. The goal is to find one of them guys, spend all the money and put it around them after they prove that they're that guy. You let them go their rookie year with an average team like Washington did. Like Denver did. Technically, that's an average team from top to bottom. They got good defense and stuff, but they average teams. When you look at the whole roster, yeah, we can call out some great players, but holistically, those are average teams. Great coaches, though. But you get your guy in there. If he proves that he's worth investing around, year one is done. You got 4 more years to spend money and load up on him. You go spend money and load up on them in free agency every year, and you try to win your Super Bowl. If you don't get one, you're still competitive. In those 4 years, you draft every year trying to replace what you loaded up on in free agency. That's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Richard said, TD is trying to make a wonderful dessert at a spoiled ice cream. The Dolphins are going in no place. Listen, I'm not trying to make a wonderful dessert at a spoiled ice cream. The Dolphins, I get what your analogy here. We're a spoiled ice cream, but I'm giving the blueprint. You got to go find one of them guys, play them in year one. If they, with an average team, if they show that they can hold their own, now you go throw all the money behind them in free agency. Only free agency, not trading your draft capital. Not the Chubb trade. Not the Ramsey trade. Not the Tyreek trade. You got to go find those guys which you can in free agency so you can keep the draft pick to draft the people who you spend money on's replacement. That's what you're supposed to do. And if any one of them hit, as soon as you can get out of that big money contract, you let them go. And now you got a young guy on the roster. You're now saving money. And you're picking up where you left off. And you just keep on rolling. That's what you're supposed to do. Once you spend all that free agency money, you go in the draft, man. And you start drafting their replacements. If they ball out day one, you got a super team. If they don't ball out day one, but they getting better and better, you keep on pushing it down the road until they're ready. If they're never ready, you failed. It failed. That pick failed. If they become ready, you move on from your star after 2-3 years. Get another draft asset when you trade them, and you put that person as a starter, and you at least still got 2 to 3 years worth of cheap money on them. Man, the blueprint's out here. We just don't follow it, man. And we making it harder and harder. This TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I'm finna go have movie night with the fam. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Salute to everybody showing love to the channel. I did have a donation come through. Shout out to Oscar Ortega. Said, I can live with Ramsey sitting out. Man, that's tough. He said, for not much different than Fuller's situation back then. Oscar, thank you for the love, man. I get it. I get it. And that's probably what's going to have to happen. And thank you for hitting your boy up in the Cash App, man, letting it stretch for me, all right? Appreciate you so much. Anyway, man, I'm finna get up out of here. Salute to everybody who show love to this channel on a regular basis. We got one more. Said, I'm a Bucks fan. By your logic, you're saying you would have traded Mike Evans. He went 7 years without the playoffs. Yeah, I would have. I would have. I would have traded Mike Evans. You're right with my logic. Now, it still worked out for him with Brady, but at the same token, could you not have eventually have drafted a replacement? Could you not have? So, and again, if that's the only thing on the team that was costing money, then maybe you can keep them. I'm not saying you have to trade everybody. You only make the trade of a player when you found their replacement in the draft and they're living up to that stock. They're living up to that stock. You have a top receiver on your roster and you draft the receiver and they end up being a top receiver and you still got a few years of cheap money. Now you can move the big time guy. That's all I'm saying. But if you don't find the replacement, you keep the guy you got. You failed. You'll draft. You ain't drafting well. That's how it works. So if I'm the Bucks, I would have kept drafting. And if I would have found some more replacements, 2 more guys, then yeah, I would have traded Mike Evans and I would have continued to keep the pipeline going. Now, eventually, luckily, it worked out. But remember, when you got Brady, you went and got a guy. Remember, we talked about that. That's a whole other category. You got a guy. That formula you don't have to follow to the T. This is the formula on the rookie deals. Just FYI, but I got to get out of here. The fam waiting on me to start movie night. I love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. As always, fins up no matter what. I'll see y'all soon. What movie y'all watching, TD? I don't even know, man. We started Harry Potter because we never watched it, and the kids love number 1. We might watch number 2, but I got some action movies lined up for me and the wife to watch, so that I might try one of them called Fire versus Fire or something like that. I might check that out. But we'll see. I'm gonna go down and check their pulse and see what we're gonna do. Anyway, I'm finna get out of here. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all take care. Love on your family. Y'all have a great weekend with your family. All right. I'll see y'all soon. Peace. I'm out.